Hey guys, here I have some Oregon grapes. Oregon grapes are actually the little blueberries that are on the Oregon grape, which is the state flower. And they look like little tiny blueberries, and you're supposed to pick them when they're blue like this. But they're not very good if you eat them raw, but they do make good jams and jellies. So what I did was, I happened to find one of the bushes. They look like a holly bush. The leaves are real pokey, so if you're picking them, you got to be careful because they can hurt. But anyway, I picked a whole bunch of these, and I've washed them, and I've got them all clean, and they're in a steamer because normally what it says that you would do with these is you would boil them for 10 minutes and then mash them, then boil them for another 5 minutes, and then you'd have to run them through a jelly bag and all that stuff. But I'm going to use a steamer juicer. A friend of mine let me borrow so that I could try this, and I'll show you a little bit about it. A steamer juicer, it's a 3-part thing, and it's got the bottom of it you put water in, and then there's a second part. This is a really old one. I think it might be. I think she told me it was old. But anyway, the second part goes on, and you can see on the inside, when the bottom is boiling, the steam will come out of here, and there's a moat kind of thing around here, and then there's a little hole that goes to this tube. Well, when you put these berries in here and put the lid on, then the water will boil. It will come up through that tube into the berries, and it'll cause them to pop and stuff, and then the juices will run down through this kettle, because you can see it's kind of like a strainer, so you can see there's all those holes, and it'll run down into that moat, and then it will come out this tube, and you just kind of unclamp it and let the juice run out. So I don't know how long it's going to take to get all these berries done, but I'm going to put this on, and I'm going to let it go. And then it's pretty simple, because once the Oregon grape, you've got the juice, then you simply put the juice, you measure it so you know how many cups you have, and you put it into a kettle and you let it boil for 10 minutes. And then for each cup of juice, you put a 3/4 as much, so you put 3/4 a cup of sugar. You stir it until it's dissolved, and then you boil it rapidly until it sheets from the spoon, and then you skim it, put it in the jars, which are sterilized, and then you process it in a boiled water canner for 5 minutes. So I'm going to let this go, and we'll see how long this takes. Okay, this has been going for about 20 minutes, and I took the lid off to see how that steam is coming up through the berries, and it's making them burst open, and it's a good thing because these kind of berries have a lot of seeds in them. I'll show you that. So it's nice. This is a good thing to do when you've got a berry that's got a lot of seeds. So anyway, there's some juice in here, and it's ready to come down through the little tube. So I'm going to put the lid back on, and I'm going to take it out of the tube, and I'll show you what that's like. So I'm going to measure. Let me make sure you can see that. It's got my measure, and it's just right up under that tube. And I'm going to release this clamp, and I'm going to take this off of there. So you can slide it down to this metal part. Oh, I'm just going to have to set this up here right quick. Slide it down to the metal part there. And I'm going to tilt the pot forward a little bit and see if I can get some of that to run out of there. Quite a bit already. So I'm going to measure up how much I have so that I know exactly how much sugar to put in it. So I'm going to clamp that back up now. It's so hard to do one-handed. Okay. So I've got 2 cups of that Oregon berry juice, and the nice thing is you don't have to sift it, you don't have to put it through a jelly jar or jelly bag or anything, and it turns out real nice. So I'll put that in here in the pot, and we'll wait until we get some more, and then we'll finish up. Alright, I got about 2.5 cups of juice, and it is just so nice. It doesn't need to be strained or anything. It's just perfect. So the instructions say once you have the juice, put it in a pan and let it boil 10 minutes. And that's awesome, because while that is boiling, I've already got my jars on boiling so that they'll be sterile. And there's not going to be very much. but you know, this isn't something like doing other kinds of jellies where you can get a whole lot of fruit. I picked for quite a while and just got all those little berries that resulted in this amount. I suppose if I had time I could sit out and do more, but I'm not going to. I'm saving myself for blackberry season because those things are blooming all over the place. But anyway, I measured out, I had about 2.5 cups of juice, so I measured out 3/4 of a cup of sugar for each cup of juice, and I got about 1 3/4 cups of sugar in a little container ready to go in here. So I'm going to bring this to boil, and I'm going to let it boil for 10 minutes. Alright, we've boiled for 10 minutes, and it doesn't really yield a whole lot, but that's okay because it gets a lot of the, it's going to thicken up nice. So I'm going to put the sugar in, and then we're going to stir it until it's dissolved, and then you boil it until it sheets from the spoon, which actually shouldn't take very long because it does boil down pretty thick. So here we go. I've got the sugar in, and now I'm going to stir it until it's dissolved, and we'll just keep boiling, and I'll bring you back when it's sheeting from the spoon. Okay, it looks like it's ready to go. Kind of sheets off of there, and it's a real pretty dark purple. So I've got these little tiny jars. I'm not a real fan of these little fancy ball jars. I don't use them for very much, but I'm going to use them for this because there's really not a lot of it, and this will be probably just fine to put in this little jar. So let's get started, and I'll put some in there. And it's really thick. It's almost like a syrup. It looks like it, but it's purple. So I'll get this in there. Wipe the rim. I'm almost not even going to use that funnel. I'll wipe the rim off right there. I thought I'd get a whole lot more than I did, so, but that's okay. That little itty bitty bit of Oregon grapes made kind of a nice little something different. I'm anxious for the blueberry or the blackberries to bloom. Everywhere I drive, there's just tons of them coming out. This year it looks like it's going to be a lot of them, so that makes me happy. So there, I wiped the rim. I'm going to put a little flat on, and I'll put the ring on, and then we're going to put these in the boiling water canner and process them for 5 minutes. So there is a jar of Oregon grape jelly. So I'll be back with you after they're all processed. Alrighty, there's the finished product. I only got 2 little tiny jars out of that, but that's okay. It's, you know, something special and something different. But anyway, there it is, Oregon grape jelly. Thanks for watching.